Charlie likes to hoard food also. We have two refrigerators, one freezer in the garage, and then another standalone freezer, and they are all full.
I buy stuff in bulk, and she's mad about it.
There's only three of us in the house right now. You don't need a box of bread.
That was Jodee talking about her fights with Charlie over food hoarding. Now, Jodee says for the last 12 years of the 30-year marriage, Charlie's clutter has been a problem, and with the added pressure of her selling her mother's house and closing on that in about a month, she's at her breaking point because that's more stuff. Jodee, you say this started about 12 years ago. Is there anything you can point to that would trigger this to occur 12 years ago?
12 years ago, we moved to Montana and we moved into this house, and it had a lot more rooms. So he just started filling up rooms nonstop.
So, Charlie, when you were growing up, you didn't have what anybody would call a stable childhood, right?
Instability, not enough money. My mother started using and kind of changed the dynamics of the household when she left my stepdad.
You would agree that you didn't have a lot of stuff when you were a child.
My mom, was good, and she lost all of her stuff. I was lucky enough to few items.
Do you think that it's possible that you're making up for some of that now by saying, okay, I did without a lot of things then, earlier in my life, but I'm going to have abundance now?
Some of it is true. I think my wife exaggerates a lot of that, but that part's probably partially true.
Does it make you anxious to be talking about all of this?
No, not really. I'm glad to talk about it, but I just wish that my wife would handle it a little differently. Like it's never the what, it's the how. So if you were to come and talk about it rather than come and start getting upset about it and yelling at me about it, then I just like shut down, get away. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to talk about it. Don't leave me alone.
Yeah, and in 12 years, you haven't been able to find time.
I've made a lot of progress, but it's always it goes back around. You gotta find a place for something else, not something else that you get or acquire, something else that's over there right now, and I gotta move it over here to get it out of the way over there.
Charlie, are you a hoarder?
I think it could be considered borderline because I have office equipment that I don't have an office, but someday I might have an office.
Jodee, is he a hoarder?
He is definitely a hoarder.
Let's look at the difference, because there's been a lot of study about this, the difference hoarding versus collecting. Collecting is organized and systematic. Some collectors may have a similar number of possessions as someone that hoards, but collecting does not produce clutter, distress, or impairment that hoarding does. And looking at that definition, I gotta say, it seems to come down on the hoarding side. Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.